case of Brandon Lawson was one of those complete, baffling mysteries. It all kicked off with a panicked phone call in the middle of the night, but a discovery made in 2022 didn't solve anything. If anything, it just made the whole story even stranger. So let's get into it.
This sentence right here, this chilling little phrase, it was captured on a secret 911 call, and it is the absolute heart of this entire mystery. It's the one piece of evidence that changes everything. We'll get to how it was found in just a bit, but first we got to go back to the very beginning.
So, our story really starts just after midnight, August 9th, 2013. A 26-year-old father of 4 named Brandon Lawson calls up his brother Kyle, and he is in a total panic. He says he's on some desolate highway, and he's in really, really serious trouble. Now, what's so fascinating about this very first call is the conflict you see right from the start. On one hand, you've got Brandon, who sounds absolutely terrified. He's saying 3 guys are after him and that his truck's about to run out of gas. But his brother, Kyle, he just isn't buying it. You see, Brandon had a history with meth, and Kyle was pretty much convinced his brother had relapsed and was just having some kind of drug-fueled hallucination. He was more annoyed than alarmed. And this whole situation just exploded incredibly fast. At 12:30 a.m., Brandon makes that first frantic call. Just 20 minutes later, at 12:50, he makes another call, one that his family has no idea about yet. And then by 1:15 a.m., when his brother Kyle finally gets there, Brandon is just gone. So even though he's skeptical, Kyle gets in his truck with his wife and his son, and he heads out onto Highway 277. Now, you gotta picture this. It's a super lonely stretch of road out in West Texas, and he's just looking for his brother in the dark. And this is the scene he pulls up to. Brandon's truck is there, just like he said, but it is completely empty. It's parked kind of weird on the side of the road. The engine's off, lights are out. There are no other cars, no sign of the 3 men Brandon was talking about. And most importantly, no sign of Brandon. It's this quiet, still, empty scene that just does not match the panic from those phone calls at all. Okay, so as Kyle is standing there by the empty truck, his phone rings. It's Brandon again. But this time, he's whispering, "I'm right here." So he's obviously nearby, watching everything. And right then, Kyle sees headlights coming. It's a police car. On the phone, Brandon gets super urgent, telling him to get away from the cop. And here's the key. Brandon isn't hiding in the fields because he's hallucinating. He's hiding because he has an active warrant for a drug charge, and he is terrified of getting arrested. And then he just hangs up. So the officer, a Deputy Neil, comes up and asks Kyle what's going on. And Kyle, trying to protect his brother from that warrant, he lies. He just says, my brother ran out of gas. He probably walked off to get some. He doesn't say a word about the 3 men or the fact that Brandon is hiding just feet away in the darkness. It was a small lie meant to help his brother, but it ended up sending the entire initial investigation down the completely wrong path. All right, let's jump ahead 4 days. At this point, the official search has been called off. The sheriff's department figures, hey, this guy has an active warrant, he had a fight with his fiancée, he probably just took off on purpose. As far as they're concerned, the case is pretty much closed.
But there was this bombshell piece of evidence that had been sitting right there the whole time. Something his family overlooked, and the sheriff's department had absolutely no clue even existed. So Brandon's fiancée, Ladessa, starts digging through their cell phone records, and she finds it. At 12:50 a.m., right in between calling his brother, Brandon had also called 911. And this is part of what he said. He confirms he's not on the road. He's out in a field, totally exposed. The audio is really choppy. It's hard to understand, but he says this line, "We're just pushing guys over." I mean, that sounds a lot like a physical fight is happening, right? Remember, his brother thought he was alone and just seeing things. This audio paints a very different picture. And the call pretty much ends with this. The dispatcher asks him if he needs an ambulance, and Brandon's response is crystal clear. "No, I need the cops." This wasn't some guy running from the law. This was a guy desperately trying to get help from the law. This 911 call completely turned the whole case on its head. So you might be wondering, why didn't Deputy Neil know about any of this when he was on the scene? Well, the answer is kind of shocking, and honestly just a simple bureaucratic failure. The local 911 dispatch center was small, understaffed, and they took Brandon's call, but they just never passed the information along to the sheriff's department. The single most important clue in the whole case was just lost in the system.
As you can imagine, the discovery of that 911 call changed absolutely everything. The authorities realized this probably wasn't a case of a guy running from a warrant. This was a potential homicide. So a massive new search was launched, way bigger than the first one.
But here's the crazy part. Despite this new sense of urgency and that terrifying audio, they found nothing. Not a single trace of Brandon Lawson. And for 9 long, agonizing years, the case just went completely and totally cold.
So over those 9 years, all these theories just started swirling around. Was Kyle right from the beginning, and Brandon was just high and confused, wandered off into the Texas brush, and died from exposure? Or was he really attacked and killed, just like that 911 call suggests? Or maybe, did he somehow get away from whatever was happening and just start a new life somewhere else? Without a body, there was just no way to know for sure. Okay, let's fast forward now, all the way to January of 2022. The case is ice cold, but a small group of independent searchers, they decide to go check that area around Highway 277 just one more time, combing through the exact same fields that had been searched over and over and over again. And this time, they found something. An old, tattered pair of shorts, pieces of white sneakers, and nearby, a fragment of a human skull. And soon enough, DNA testing confirmed what everyone feared. The remains belonged to Brandon Lawson. After 9 years, he had finally been found. But this discovery, which should have brought answers, should have brought closure, it just created a much, much bigger question. His remains were found right there, near where his truck was abandoned, in the absolute dead center of the search zone. So how on earth did everybody miss him? I mean, you really have to think about the incredible scale of this search. We're talking hundreds of people over 9 years, trained canine units multiple times, helicopters in the air. They even used thermal imaging cameras that are designed to pick up body heat. And the area itself, it's not some dense jungle. It's a flat, open West Texas field. It seems completely impossible that a body could have laid there undiscovered for that long. And so, this is where we're left, with 2 equally impossible scenarios. Option 1, he was there, in that field, the entire time, and every single searcher, every dog, every piece of technology just missed him. Or option 2, he wasn't there during all those searches, and his remains were somehow moved back to that spot years later. Neither one of those options makes any logical sense. And that, right there, is the unsolvable mystery of Brandon Lawson.